My mother sets an eggplant alight on the stove, and we watch the flames feed on its purple skin. The beige flesh inside is smoking. She separates the seeds and throws them in the bin. It's a marvel her fingers don't burn. On a white plastic board, she chops chilies and young green onions. The board is stained with turmeric, and there is still a little earth stuck in the rounds of onion stalk, but she tells me not to nitpick about small things. She fries cumin seeds in oil and pours them on top of the steaming eggplant, followed by torn leaves of coriander. Oil splatters on the side of the stove. I cough while mixing the contents of the bowl. My maid Ela straightens her sari and sighs. She begins the work of cleaning our mess while we bring out the dishes to where Dilip sits at the dining table. Ma doesn't come to our house often. She says the main hall disturbs her, especially the mirrors that cover each wall, reflecting everything in multiple directions. For Dilip, the mirrors were a selling point when he was house hunting, a sign that he'd made it, and the culmination of every fantasy he had about mirrors and pornographic films. For my mother, the room is too alive, with each object and body replicated 4 times, with each replication repeated further in reflection. She sits down at the table and her feet jump nervously, climbing on one another like mice escaping the midday heat. For myself, I've gotten used to the mirrors, have even started relying on them when Dilip and I fight, because seeing a reflection shout is similar to watching television. So, Mom, Dilip says, how are you feeling? He calls my mother Mom, like he calls his own. I struggled in the beginning, but it was easy for him, calling 2 women Mom and calling 2 places home. My mother tries to speak in an American accent when Dilip is around. She thinks he won't understand her otherwise, and if he tries to speak in Hindi, she replies in English. Ma attempts his Midwestern vowels and confident pauses, which assume the rest of the world will wait for him to finish a sentence. Honestly, beta, when the doctor gave me the news, I started to fear the worst. I even started making plans to take my own life. You can ask her. Isn't it true? Sorry, I'm not trying to upset your meal. Eat first, eat first. We'll talk later. How is the auntie? Not too spicy, I hope. Yes, the answer to your question. I was scared at first, but now I don't think I'm really sick. I feel very fine. Dilip nods and looks into the mirror ahead of him. I'm so happy to hear that. Ma, the doctor says you're forgetting. My scans were normal. Yes, scans can be normal, even though, why are you going on insisting I'm ill? She's holding a slice of raw onion in her hand. It drops back to her plate as she speaks. You're forgetting things. You're forgetting how to do things, basic things, like using your mobile phone and paying the electricity bill. Oh, I never really knew how to pay the bill. These online things are too confusing. I put my hands down. She hadn't said this to the doctor. And what about calling Kali Mata? You asked me to dial the number of a person who's been dead for 10 years. 7 years, Ma says, and turns to Dilip. See how she lies? Dilip looks between us. When he frowns, a scar from an old lacrosse injury glimmers on his temple. I'm not lying. You are. That's what you do. You're a professional liar. We drop Ma home after dinner, and Dilip hums to himself quietly. I can't make out the tune, so I interrupt him. Can you believe what she was saying? He pauses and then answers. Maybe she doesn't believe she's sick. She has to believe it. You aren't an authority. It stings that my lack is so visible. I didn't say I was an authority. The doctor said she's sick. I thought the doctor said she has the brain of a young woman. But she's forgetting things. Important to whom? Maybe she wants to forget. Maybe she doesn't want to remember her friend is dead. Either way, she's forgetting. I hear my tone has turned shrill. Voluntarily forgetting is not the same as dementia, Anthara. That doesn't make any sense. Why would she want to forget me? Dilip takes a breath and shakes his head. You're an artist. Be open to possibilities. She called me a liar. Well, isn't that what you make art about? About how people can't be trusted. His face has dropped. He looks disappointed. I try to match his look but don't feel it, so I bite the nail on my middle finger, or, more accurately, the cuticle area. Dilip reaches out his hand and brings my arm down.